been talking about the quality of life in our town, Clio. And these two gentlemen, George Atkin and Nate Yonker, are helping me discuss that. One of the things that you brag a lot about is the park facilities in your town. George, tell us about that.
Well, in 1980, we planned a 10-year program to improve our parks. We started that by just improving the basic park, and we've expanded to jogging trails, bike trails, the amphitheater, the art center, and we have recently just put together a 5-year recreation plan that includes the townships, the school district, and the city of Clio.
That's really a unique feature. I represent 90,000 people when I go to Lansing. Clio's is only 24,000. But I've been encouraging other communities to look at the planning process that Clio's gone through. They've got all their governmental units together, all signing onto one master plan for the future, for the next 10 years, to carry us into the next century. And that kind of cooperative planning is what we need in Michigan. And Clio's a good model for how to do it. It really is.
One of the things you're proudest of, I'm sure, is your bike path that goes right through the heart of Clio. We have some video, and while that's rolling, if you gentlemen would be so kind as to explain what we're seeing and talk some more about the other things going on in that area in Clio.
Our main objective of the bike trail was to solve the problem of so much traffic on M57 and a very unsafe place for people to ride their bicycles. This bike path goes under the railroad tracks, crosses over the creeks, goes under all the main highways. You could put your 5-year-old child on this bike path and have them go from one end to the other without worrying of any problems with traffic. We are approaching one bridge that now exists. We have 2 more planned for the bike path that will be under construction in the spring of 1990.
Now, this isn't just used by bikers, it's used by joggers, walkers, whomever, correct?
Anybody that cares to use it, it's used.
I think the amazing thing here is, as you said, you're running right along Vienna Road here, right in the heart of Clio, and you'd never know it. It's very secluded.
It's amazing, the atmosphere. You feel like you're, quote, up north in a hidden woods. It's quite secluded, and it's very quiet, and it's a very nice break. I know a lot of people who walk, it's a 1.5 miles long, walk down it and then back again for a 3-mile walk in the morning, and it's just right for that.
We are now coming up on a bridge, a tunnel that goes under the CSX railroad. It's a 90-foot tunnel.
This project, too, is a good example of how intergovernmental cooperation really pays off in big dollars. This is a partial federal, and we had state cooperation. We had our state senator and state representative involved, our city officials, our county people. And with everybody pulling together, we really pulled off a major coup for the size of our community. How much was the total value on that bike path, George?
About $350,000.
A substantial investment for a town our size.
This area is coming right out into the entertainment center,
That's right.
Isn't it?
We're entering into our main parks. We just passed the ball field, and once we go under Mill Street here, we will be into our main park area. 3 weeks ago on a Sunday, we had 6 family reunions in this park, so it is very heavily used during the summer especially.
Certainly is scenic.
But one nice thing about the bike path, and that's what Project 80s did 10 years ago, they said, let's make sure all our recreation facilities are tied together so that it's not a little bit here and a little bit there. They all make sense together because they're tied together with a bike path.
When we come back, we'll be talking about another aspect of the entertainment cultural center in our town, Clio. So hold on for that. We'll be right back.
Hi, we're the Roth family. Welcome to our town, Clio.
We've been talking a lot about some of the new cultural attractions in Clio, including the amphitheater and the new arts center. They're all a part of the Clio Area Entertainment Center. And in this segment, we'll take a look at the center to show you just what all the fuss is about. Nate Yonker and I are joined by Karen Mason, who's director of the Clio Area Fine Arts Center, to tell us what's happening and what's on the drawing board for the future. The entire entertainment center, Nate, came about as a result of a lot of community effort. How did that all happen?
Well, it certainly did. When Project 80 started the park improvement project, the cast and crew, a local theater group, decided to help bring people into the park. And so what they did is started Monday night concerts for free in the park on the side of a hill. And it was pretty rough about 8 years ago when they started. And then 5 years ago, a number of people in the community said, let's build our own amphitheater to house those Monday night concerts. And we've taken off from there, although we've only broken ground 2 years ago. In the last 2 years, we've now purchased about $300,000 worth of materials for the amphitheater and received about $300,000 in volunteer labor over the last 2 years. So we've got a heft of money in it, and we're very pleased with the volunteer efforts that has made the thing go.
You mentioned the Clio cast and crew, and they have just grown and put on phenomenal productions in the last couple of years.
Yes, yeah. The group has been a driving force behind change. Very interesting across Michigan to have a theater group be so much of the way a community changes economically and other ways as well. And yet they really have had a great deal to do with it. And they've got hundreds of people who belong to the group. And they work well with the other groups too. After the amphitheater got up and running, we found there was an ugly building right almost in the middle of our amphitheater project that we somehow didn't see before. It was a closed-down elementary school, and it was just an eyesore. And so then we started to do some thinking again, and that's when Karen came into the picture.
The Fine Arts Center. Well, a couple of weeks ago, the Clio cast and crew put on a marvelous production of The Wizard of Oz. And News 5's Jim Kurtzner was there and did a little story on their production. Let's take a look at that and come back and talk to Karen about the Fine Arts Center. Here's the news on The Wizard of Oz.
This is what community theater is all about. Some 300 volunteers working behind the scenes to prepare a cast of 90, mostly kids. Also volunteers working above the scenes and all over building this new outdoor amphitheater. And tonight is its first stage play.
And dress rehearsal was last night, and it was the first night that we got to use the lights and the sound in the facility. And so tonight will be the second night. So we're a little jumpy about the technical end of it, but the actors are ready, and it's going to be a wonderful show.
That is if you check out the Cowardly Lion, a cool cat, minutes before the first curtain. But Dorothy upstairs is battling butterflies.
Yes, I'm very nervous.
You seem like it.
I'm sorry.
But on stage, she easily sings through her first song as though she's performed for years. She has 9 to be exact. $20,000 went into this show alone, another $250,000 into the new theater. The show has several special effects, a grand entrance for the Good Witch of the North, and smoke for the Wicked Witch of the West. The Tin Man also has a smoking hat.
It shoots out the flames and the smoke.
Okay, now you got a full head of hair right now, but if you're bald after the show...
I did singe it once.
This project is much more than a theater. The school building behind me here has been vacant for 9 years. It's now the home of an arts center. Also the restrooms and the concession stand for the hundreds of people using the amphitheater.
22 years ago, we had a fine musical tent here in Clio. A lot of people from the mid-Michigan area appreciated it and visited. And tonight we're going to start a new tradition.
Now the show continues tomorrow night and next weekend. We won't show you the grand finale. You'll have to pay to see that for yourself. But it's not too unlike the end of the classic movie. Jim Kurtzner, News 5 in Clio.
Of course, that was a couple of weeks ago. The production was over and was a big success. The building Jim referred to in the story as the Fine Arts Center is under your jurisdiction right now, Karen Mason.
Yes, it is.
And we have some video of that, and as we take a look of it, I'd like you to narrate for us and tell us what's going on at your center.
Okay, the center has 30 artists that are involved in it right now. They all volunteer their time, and we've had 2 shows. The attendance is unbelievable. So far, we've had more people go through. We've had 16 openings. We open in conjunction with the amphitheater schedule, the Summer Music Festival. And now this painting right here is from Lyle Brown. He's a area artist. he's going to be teaching for us. That's our next step for this winter is we have several classes that will start in the center in September, and Lyle will be teaching one of the classes. Most of the work in here are right from Clio people, and that's what makes it nice. The gallery is in the center is for Clio, and this piece right here is Darlene Lavelle's. She's from Clio. Mick Wilborn is the painting on the wall is from Mick, and he is art instructor from the school, Clio School. The gallery, the response has just been wonderful. That's what's the most fun in the whole project is watching with the people when they come in and see the gallery. They just don't expect such a nice gallery and studio room there.
Well, that seems to be the story in Clio. Everyone is just so committed and devoted, and thank you for sharing the story of your town with us. And I hope you'll catch more of Our Town Clio all this week on News 5. Thank you for joining us.